Hi everyone, MrBeast here. Let's talk about MrBeast. For those of you who do not know, MrBeast is one of the biggest YouTubers on the platform, hosting competitive videos and competing in video challenges with his friends. He has devoted a very strong and young audience, being very family friendly, which makes him more marketable. Unlike, let's just say, PewDiePie. Yes, I know PewDiePie has a young audience as well, but he swears a lot and does things that doesn't make him very family friendly. But I digress. MrBeast has managed to survive multiple controversies over his YouTube career, but his two biggest controversies are back to back. And I have a feeling this is just the start. So let's talk about those controversies. Dogpack404, a former employee of MrBeast, uploaded a video exposing a lot about how MrBeast runs his company and plans out his videos, especially picking the winner, which is already planned out. And I could go into more detail, but I would just be repeating Dogpack's video, so link in the description, go see for yourself.
Do you think attention is the most valuable currency in the world?
Well, of course. If you could post something and everyone in the world would watch it, you'd be the most powerful man on earth.
In broad strokes, lying, deceiving, and scamming your audience is pretty bad. But at least you didn't diddle anyone. Oh, look! It's MrBeast's transgender friend. Carl Chris Tyson transitioned into Ava Chris Tyson. And as we found out, has been a very bad boy, or girl. An old Reddit thread leaked, revealing that Chris had been grooming underage boys, one of whom, Luxe, posted a video on X, also in the description.
Chris Tyson from MrBeast used me, manipulated me, and did very inappropriate things with me while I was about 15 years old. I was actually friends with LavaGS at the time, who is the main victim of Chris that everyone has been talking about these last few days, who claims he isn't a victim, but we all know he is, and we all know he probably got paid off. Not only that, but he's also under an NDA from when he worked for MrBeast Gaming for 2 years. I knew they were just trying to silence me. This Discord server that we were a part of had about 10 people in it, most of whom were minors. I'm not sure how they got in there. He invited me after I saw one of his tweets. This turned into us having lots of private conversations with Chris and playing video games with him for hours on end. He would also frequently bring up sexual topics that was definitely not appropriate to bring up around 15, 16-year-olds. He would even go as far as linking me several different porn and hentai videos. So when it was just a private server, his little circle of minors. And he would use this NSFW bot to spam different corn images. I think this is someone who we looked up to at the time, we idolized, we thought was the coolest person in the world, so they couldn't really do any wrong in our eyes. Definitely uncomfortable at being called daddy by a 20-year-old. And even just thinking about it now, it's just uncomfortable. This server later went public and became his official Discord server. He had me and Lava spend multiple days scrubbing this Discord server clean of all of the N-words he had sent in it, as well as his friends, as well as deleting the NSFW channels and making sure no one could see that he was spamming corn to minors.
One of the biggest questions coming out of all this is, did MrBeast know? Another leak showed, yes. Yes, he did. I should say this is not 100%. This is the internet after all. Things can be altered and faked. But even if it's not real, it would be hard to believe that MrBeast, real name Jimmy, had no idea what his best friend had been up to. The fact that Carl could do this in the first place is because he's on MrBeast's channel that has an young and impressionable audience. So Jimmy isn't out of the clear either way. If Jimmy didn't know, then he's an idiot who shouldn't run a daycare, let alone a company. And if Jimmy knew, then he's allowed children to be groomed because of his platform, which seems pretty close to trafficking if you ask me. Ava has said on X that she denies the allegations and is stepping down to make sure that others at the company aren't affected. But if you look at MrBeast's X account, he says they're taking action to remove Ava from the company. And he doesn't support any of the inappropriate actions. Can you hear that? It's the sound of someone being thrown under the bus. Off topic, but does anyone remember Sunny V2's video where he said this and got a load of hate from it? Well, Mr. Sunny V2, I hope that vindication tastes really, really sweet. His video will be linked as well. Going back to what I said earlier, and I have a feeling this is just the start. What I meant is Jimmy being exposed as a fraud is only going to get worse, especially at the end of Dog Pack's video. He asks for people who've worked for MrBeast to contact him, with a "to be continued" as well. Meaning he is going to get more people to talk about MrBeast and expose more of his lies. And it won't just be Dog Pack's videos that do that. For the first time ever, there is blood in the water when it comes to MrBeast. And other people will come forward and make videos of their own talking about their history with him. Some have already done so in the past and usually get swept under the rug, either by his fans or Daddy YouTube. Hopefully the people who come forward, they won't be afraid of getting hated on by MrBeast's child mob. And other YouTubers are talking about the fall of MrBeast as we speak. If there is one thing people like on YouTube, is to see someone fall from a great height. Speaking of coming forward, I think that's what's going to happen with the Chris Ava situation. In situations like this, where there are multiple victims, it just takes one person to be brave enough and come out about their abuser. And that inspires more victims to come forward. Bribes and NDAs can only hide so much after all. It could get to the point where even the strongest Beast fans will have to rethink their love for MrBeast. But in the end, hopefully it will prove it doesn't matter how big or popular or rich you are, or how much Daddy YouTube loves you. You shouldn't be able to get away with heinous actions, and grooming minors is pretty heinous. Well, that's my 2 cents on this whole mess. Now, I'm not going to lie to you and say I'll give you a PS5 if you subscribe, but if you still choose to subscribe, you can join the madhouse.